parents, boys and girls, and distinguished guests. My name is Mrs. Watchyourhousekey. First name Sirius, middle name Lee, and last name Watchyourhousekey. Repeat after me. Sirius Lee, Watchyourhousekey. But you may call me Mrs. Watchyourhousekey. I have been teaching catechism since 62. No worries, I must be coming down with something. Luckily, I keep my handkerchief tucked securely in my sweater. Today I am speaking with our spiritual leader here, Father Len. Father Len, allow me to shake your hand. First thing, Father Len, I would like to commend you on your timely article in the bulletin last week about people coming to Mass late and leaving early. I have a friend. Her name is Donay, but it's spelled donut. She sits in the back and sneaks out early. Perhaps you've met her. Her first name is Anita. She tries to sneak out to be first in line for the pastry at the cafeteria. Her name is Mrs. Anita Donut. Repeat after me. I need a donut. Two things I demand always. We must be prompt, and we must have discipline. Now, back to the business at hand. In 1 week, our third graders will be presenting the glorious Saint Parade. Father Len, do you have a favorite saint?
I sure do.
Tell us a little bit about this saint.
My favorite saint is Saint Martin of Tours. He was born in the 4th century, and he was a soldier in the Roman army, and he was thinking about becoming Christian but hadn't become a Christian yet. And one day he was, because he was an officer, he was riding his horse into the city, city in France that he was in, and he sees a poor man out in the cold, shivering, half naked. So Martin on horseback draws his sword, and he cuts the cloak in half, and he gives the man the cloak that he gave, the half of his cloak, so the man wouldn't freeze to death. That night, he's had a dream, and in the dream, Jesus appeared to him wearing the half cloak that he gave to the poor man. So that began this whole process of conversion. He ends up resigning his commission in the army, and he is baptized, becomes a Christian, and then he becomes a monk, devotes himself to God, and was known for great holiness. And then in a city in France called Tours, the bishop died, so they needed a new bishop, and the holiest person that they could think of was Martin. So, but they knew if they asked him, he would say no. So they tricked him into coming to saying, we need you to come help with some spiritual situation. When they got there, they acclaimed him as bishop. And then for the next several decades, he served as a bishop there and was really a great instrument of bringing the gospel and helping to convert the pagan peoples there, and worked up until died on a missionary endeavor. So he died in 397 A.D. And is the first non-martyred saint of the West with an annual feast day.
So what you're telling me is this saint was not eaten by a lion?
He was not.
He was not eaten by a lion. Do you have a photograph photograph of the saint, sir?
I have a picture right here in my office, right there, St. Martin.
Oh, he is a wonderful saint, boys and girls. Now, a few rules about the glorious saint parade.
I want to point out, too, there's also in the classroom building, he has a classroom, and it shows him cutting that cloak there.
Well, we must have that new teacher, Mrs. Mayer, and her ragtag bunch of volunteers. You know they've been filling in for me while I've been out sick. We will have Mrs. Mayer and the ragtag volunteers go and find the saint. In the meantime, Father Len, about Mrs. Mayer and these volunteers, when I get back there, I am going to report the whole lot of them to you. They are just running amok.
Is Mrs. Mayer working with Mr. Stallion?
Oh, they are running all over the place, getting donuts, going to see stained glass in the church. We cannot have this. We must have discipline. Now, in one short week, the third graders will be presenting the glorious Saint Parade. Be sure that you have chosen your saint. Get your costume and invite your family and friends. I have invited my dear sister, Betta. Perhaps you've met her. Betta, Watchyourhousekey. We will not be having anything that looks like this or sounds like this. We must have discipline. But for now, choose your saint, make your costume.
What if my cousin wants to come? I
I haven't met your cousin, sir.
she eats a lot of food. Her name's I'm a Hog.
I'm a hog. Oh, I think we might play canasta with her on Tuesday. She's that big lady. We always have to make the door a little wider for her. She sits next to I Need a Donut.
Her husband's kind of makes up a lot of stuff. His name is Bill. Billoni.
We'll invite them too, but we'll save lots of room for the lot of them. Now, choose your saint, make your costume, and we will see you at the glorious saint parade. None of this, sir. We will have none of this.